Good evening, and welcome to the April 16th, 2014 legislative session of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Trustee DeRyle?
Here.
Trustee Quezada?
Present.
Trustee Codman?
Present.
Trustee Garrity?
Present.
And Mayor Hanauer.
Present.
We have mayor's and trustees' announcements.
I just have a couple. The first one is Ossining's 5th annual Earth Day celebration is this coming Saturday, the 19th, from 11 to 4. It's a riverfront day of free events honoring our planet and commemorating the legacy of Pete Seeger. It's going to be at Lewis Engel Park, as it always is, so please bring your families and come down for the whole day. Learn how to live a more sustainable life. You can visit with artisan vendors and buy things. You can eat healthy food from Wobble and Blue Pig. And drink some craft beer. Local author Robert Stava and the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club and ferry sloops will be around along with Brennan Boat Builders and the River Keeper will be there to talk about river lore. Mike and Miriam Risco have scheduled a full day of music, so you're invited to participate, and to participate this year for the first time in a community drum circle. Many do-it-yourself projects and exhibits are planned for family members of all ages. There'll be birders and beekeepers, experts in vertical gardening, it's Tower of Babel, is it? And many who are in the forefront of offering and exploring alternate energies and sustainable living practices. They're collecting e-waste, which you can define for us at some point, and coordinating an athletic swap of sports and recreation equipment. So if you have anything and you don't need it any longer, please bring it down to the waterfront. Be a wishing tree out of vines and bamboos, which will be built so that everyone can add something to it. And you'll learn how to take care of trees from Care of Trees, and they have offered to plant a tree down there by the waterfront. So for more information, look on facebook.com/pages/green-ossining 3393090578894 or go to greenossining.org or contact Sue Donnelly at sdonnelly@townofossining.com or 914-762-6001. Well, now we can start. Do you want to tell us what e-waste is?
Sure. Well, that was a very thorough assessment. I'm impressed you had that much information on it. Yeah, the only other things I would clarify, e-waste is any electronic waste. So old computer screens, old cell phones, anything that you have sitting in your house, because there's components in that you don't want to throw that in regular trash. So e-waste can be...
Batteries?
Oh, good question about batteries. I don't know. Go on the website and find out. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering, because I have collecting them because I don't throw them in the trash, and are appropriate. That would just be my question.
All right, well, I'll see if I can get an answer for you, and if I can, then go to the Facebook page, and maybe we can get that question answered for you, for people to check out about batteries.
Can we bring our teenagers' cell phones and laptops to life?
I suppose. I will also say one other opportunity for people to bring materials down in the spirit of reuse is if you have any sports equipment. It's a lot of sports seasons starting off right now. If you have soccer balls you're not using, or shin guards, or rackets, or bats, anything that you used but still has a little life in it and somebody else might make use of, bring it down. We're doing a sports swap. The other thing is, if you need a bat or a mitt or a ball, come stop by the sports swap and take advantage of somebody else's gently used gear. So it should be a really great day. And yes, it is. Captain Lawrence is going to be there. You mentioned the craft beer. Yes, so it's very exciting. And to get us in the spirit of Earth Day, this Thursday, the Ossining Documentary and Discussion Series film will be Yurt, and which is about an environmental road trip that 3 people took. And the panel is going to be, should be really interesting. It's local folks who are really grassroots engaged in environmental projects. So please join us at 6:30 at the Ossining Public Library this Thursday, the 17th. The movie is Yurt, followed by discussion, and it's it's always a wonderful conversation to have with community members gathering in this forum to exchange ideas on things that matter to many people in the community. And I guess I will let John
Right, absolutely.
speak up.
EnergizeOssining.org is still on the web and still there to give you information and provide an application for a free energy or almost free energy assessment. It's a program that I've personally participated in, and others, other trustee Rio, as well as Lori Lee Dixon, has also been the beneficiary of this program. It's an opportunity to learn about your home as a heating unit. There's also some safety things as well they look at, and recommend that you take advantage of the program. We don't know how much longer it's going to go on for, but it's been very successful for those that have participated. That's EnergizeOssining.org.
I have one more announcement. The Downtown Development Fund, which was created in an agreement with Louis Capelli and Martin Ginsberg, we have been able to expand the size of that fund council from 3 members to 5, and we're looking for 2 more people. We're looking for people who have an interest in the development of downtown and who want to get involved and spend a couple of very good hours with us every month. So if you are interested, please contact Assistant Village Manager Christina Papes at cpapes@villageofossining.org, or call her at 941-3554. That you can send a letter of interest and a resume to her. You can even do it on paper if you use such stuff at 16 Croton Avenue. Who else? Hey, you.
We'll move on to administrative reports, and we'll begin with Corporation Counsel Lori Lee Dixon.
Hi, good evening. Just a reminder that in accordance with your resolution on March 5th of this year, authorizing an expenditure for the PACE Land Use Law Center to look at the streamlining the development approval process. You have 2 public meetings upcoming. The first one is just with the facilitator. We thought we'd take an opportunity just to provide a facilitator available at 16 Croton, and that is during the day on May 1st from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we're encouraging stakeholders and anyone with an interest in the development approval process in the village to take advantage of that afternoon session. If you can't make the afternoon session, there is, in connection with the May 14th work session, it will be on the agenda that evening. That's at 7:30 p.m. on May 14th. So 2 public meetings available for people to come forward and make their comments and suggestions and to propose revisions to streamlining the development approval process in the Village of Ossining.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just one item of note this evening, which may seem a little confusing to the public, is item F. It's a correction to your 2013 village assessment and 2014 tax roll. This was as a result of a tax certiorari filed at such point and settled at such point that the next round of taxes were due. So this is necessary in order to correct the assessment for this particular property and also to refund those taxes which were paid in the end of January of this year. So that's why that's on for this evening, because that is necessary. It wasn't included in the court order for the certiorari proceeding. So it's something a little unusual. You don't see it very often, but I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Police Chief Joseph Burton.
Good evening.
Evening.
Monthly statistics for March 2014. Blotter entries recorded 2,311. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued, 346. Parking summonses, 593. Part 1 crimes or uniform crime reports were 14. Arrests for the month were 84. 51 penal law, 5 village ordinances, and 28 vehicle and traffic arrests. And I'll come back in a little while.
Okay, thank you very much.
We have First Assistant Chief Scarduzio with us this evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
The Austin Fire Department, year-to-date, we have responded to 190 alarms for the year of 2014 so far. We also have a save-the-date for you. June 14th, we're going to be hosting our annual inspection, 6:30 p.m. at the riverfront. Also, we're going to be hosting our annual Firemen's Parade. It'll be held on Friday, August the 1st, starting at 7 p.m. That we have no further this month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. When is the village fair? Same day? Ah. Okay.
It's going to be at 6:30 down at the waterfront.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, it's after all the
Caps
affairs are
off.
done with the village, with the fair and everything.
It's a fun-filled day in Ossining.
It's a fun-filled, busy day.
We will look forward to it.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to Village Engineer Paul Frioli.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Board.
Evening.
I'm happy to say we got our draft document back from Westchester County, the regulator for our solid waste processing operations here in the village, and it will be formally publicized next month, but we are anticipating the county to accept 44% reporting of recycled waste for all materials that we handle in the village. We usually use 40% as a good benchmark. It's right around where most municipalities with our type environment are, right around the 40 to 50% range. So we're happy with that, particularly in a year where we didn't have many road reclamation projects that took place. That usually bolsters the number for a lot of communities when they do a lot of reclamation type paving. So those were good numbers because they're primarily based on organics, cardboard, and commingles. So I'm happy with that. You'll notice that, so be it not a village project, it's in Briarcliff Manor. CVS is rocking and rolling, and I was just out there again today discussing some utility interface issues, and they anticipate being completed by the end of this year and turning the store over to its tenant, CVS, sometime in the fall. So on the heels of that, because of the agreement that we made with the landlord for that parcel, we're going to hopefully pave Pleasantville Road part with the monies that were secured by the village manager. Negotiations for some of the street opening work that they were going to do. So hopefully by the end of this year, but definitely by next year, we hope to pave Pleasantville Road within the village limits, following the installation of some improved signalization work and ADA accessibility and pedestrian access to that area that is being undertaken by the developer of that parcel.
Very good.
The major capital project that's still ongoing is the Kilbrook project, and we're still on track there. We did, have to deal with some heavy rains of late over the last couple of weeks, but the contractor's working around it and moving right along, and everybody's still abreast of what's taking place, including our regulators on that project, the DEC and the County Health Department. Lastly, our annual bid documents will be making their way to you. They were opened this week and have those summary sheets and recommendations of the board at a work session and a legislative session for adoption, hopefully this month. Thank you.
Before you go, I just wanted to say thank you. The new crosswalk on the corner of Hunter and Secor, your guys did this efficiently, quickly, and safely. It was extraordinary, and it was the least amount of disruption to traffic and to the pedestrian traffic that I've ever seen on one of these projects. And this is going to make a huge difference because now you can walk the sidewalk all the way from Sing Sing down to the train station and all the way up into town. And it makes it a much safer place for that bus stop on the corner that has so much congestion in the morning.
I appreciate you taking note of that. In fact, when we were finishing, doing some of the finish work on that project, it was towards the end of the day, and the school bus was dropping off students, and I brought it to the attention of the manager and the chief, and we went down there together and kind of put our heads together and said, this is a good place for a crosswalk, and it'll go nicely with the sidewalk improvements that hopefully take place with the subdivision or the project on State Street.
Nice
that
job,
happens.
everybody concerned.
Yeah, Paul, the other thing I just wanted to mention, one other thing too, was that the one of the things that I've noticed throughout the winter and really the all the work that we did around the Kilbrook underneath the tracks, that whole area where we worked with Metro North to create a whole better way for the water to escape out to the waterfront. I mean, I haven't seen the parking lot have any water of any significance at all, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing for sure. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Treasurer Thomas Warren.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees. It's nice to be at this point of the month where the audit is now about 2.5 weeks through the process. I think we only have one more day tomorrow with the auditors on site. However, the audit process isn't completely finished. I still have about another 2 to 3 more weeks of work to do. We have to prepare the management discussion and analysis, which is a village prepared document that goes in the front of the auditor's report. It's about 15 pages of narrative describing what happened with the village financially during the 2013 year, as well as talking about why things went up or down, and talking about budget variances and things like that. So we'll be busy with that, and also now that the audit's just about complete, now we can prepare the annual financial report update document, which has to be filed with the State Controller's Office by the end of the month. With regards to tax collection, we're pleased to see that we've collected more than half of the property tax levy for the 2014 year. We're at about 51%, but there were still some people that haven't paid the first installment, so we have sent reminder letters out on those. The second installment is due in July, and we also sent letters to taxpayers on 2013 unpaid taxes, because we're in the process of filing those as liens with the county, which starts the foreclosure process on those properties.
How many properties were there?
I'm sorry?
How many properties were there?
I honestly don't know. I want to say there may have been 50 initially, but we have been in contact with quite a few taxpayers, and so they have been reduced somewhat. I think normally there's probably about maybe 30 parcels that get filed, and we're also in a further step with regards to other tax liens. We're sending out letters and contacting taxpayers that have 2012 tax liens outstanding, advising them that the period to redeem those tax liens is on June 4th. So that's something that we go through annually. So if any taxpayers have any questions, the Finance Department is open until 4:30 at 941-2581. And finally, I just wanted to mention on the agenda tonight, I was asked to prepare a budget modification to transfer $9,000 from the contingency account to the Historic Buildings Marker capital project to provide additional money for the marker signs that had been discussed with the board at a work session.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Director of Code Enforcement, Al Sirocco.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board.
Evening.
I have the Building Department's activity report for the month of March. We had 92 new complaints this month. We were able to close out 62 complaints. Total complaints year to date, we had a total of 211. Notice of violations that were issued this month were 57. We had 81 that were closed. Let's see, up to date, we have 121 OTRs that have been issued. Court appearance tickets, we issued 12 this month. Tickets closed this month, we had a total of 8. Total court appearance tickets to date is 27. Court fines assessed this month was $2,750. The total up to date is $16,350. We had 21 new building permits, totaling $5,795. 23 certificate of occupancies were issued. Final cost affidavit fees were $550. 20 plumbing permits, fee totaling $1,690. 22 electrical permits, fee totaling $1,750. We had 4 new backflow applications received, $400 in fees were received on that. Overnight parking, we had 23 inspections, 42 Section 8 inspections, 13 fire assembly inspections, and 161 building and plumbing inspections. We've been keeping busy on that front. I know the weather was getting better, except for today, but we do have a little over a month until May 31st when the heat ordinance will expire. So just a reminder to all property owners to please keep your tenants' spaces 68 as a minimum in degrees that you need to supply them, and that's through May 31st. If anyone does have a heat complaint, please call the building department at 941-3199. That's through our office hours, which are Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. And if it's after hours, please call the police department at 941-4099. And that'll do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent of Parks and Recreations, Henry Atterbury.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board.
Evening.
A couple of things. This park spring cleanup has started, and we're still working on plans for installation of new playgrounds at Nelson Park, Dale Avenue Park, Veterans Park. The boat ramps, docks are in, and they were repaired this year and made a number of repairs to cleats and things on the docks and bumpers along the edges. And so the ramp passes are now available if anybody wants to put their boat in the water. There are ramp passes at the community center and also at the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club where they're signed both locations. Obviously, we encourage people to use life jackets at all times, but at this time of the year, given that the water temperature is very cold, we encourage everybody that goes on in boats at this time of the year should be wearing life jackets. I'm sure the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary would support that. Baseball season started this past Saturday. We had the opening parade. The Jesse Collier Youth Sports had over 450 children in the parade. Some of you were there. Thank you very much for participating. I know the children enjoy that. The fields are in good shape. And the programs this year for the Jesse Collier, they actually have 3 new travel teams that they put out beyond what they normally have, so the program is expanding. Summer camps. We're now setting up for the summer camps. Camp registration dates were announced a few weeks ago, and we included those dates also in the process in the Recreation and Parks Department brochure that was emailed out to about 8,000 people. We started registration online this past Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., and in person it will start this Monday night. If you want to know which dates, which evenings are for which camps, you can either look in the brochure, you can go to the village's website, which is online, and see the brochure, or you can contact the community center at 941-3189, and they will explain that to you, along with the process for getting a recreation ID card, which is necessary to have a current validated ID card to either be to register in person or to register online. That card has to be updated yearly. So if you contact Luz or Gabe at 941-3189, they will explain that process to you, and they'll be happy to help you through that process. I say that because we had a number of people that showed up at 9 a.m. on Tuesday morning in a bit of a panic because they were trying to register for their camps and they couldn't. A couple of new things. The formerly known as the Veterans Sports Camp, Veterans Park Sports Camp, is just going to be the Veterans Park Camp this year because we are going a little bit of a less of an emphasis on sports. That's for children ages 10 to 14, and we will be moving into a more general camp there. We will have an outdoor specialist as a former Eagle Scout from Ossining who will be doing nature programs, and we will also have an arts and crafts director, and her specialty is using recycled materials to produce art projects for children. So that will be at the Veterans Park Camp this summer. That was one of the concerns we've had with some people in the past, that their children were not necessarily interested in sports, but they were the right age. And so we are expanding the variety and the diversity of programs that we offer at that camp for those children. Fireworks, July 3rd, it's a Thursday evening. That'll be also the kickoff night for the summer concert series. Earth Day, April 19th. That's already been discussed officially tonight. Stash the Trash is May 10th from 12 to 4. Bags and gloves can be picked up at 4 sites: the Community Center, Jug Tavern, Historical Society, and at the Waterfront Park. If you want to pick up garbage bags or gloves, you can go to any one of those 4 sites. And if you pick up garbage anywhere around town, or if you want to claim an area and call the Community Center, we'll put you on a chart so that we don't have groups of people going to the same places. That's also coordinated with the River Keepers River Sweep Day. They'll be doing a river sweep from Albany to New York City on that same day, picking up garbage on the edges of the river. You can contact Dan Shapley at the Riverkeeper Sweep at riverkeeper.org or 914-478-4501, extension 226, if you want to participate in the Riverkeepers River Sweep that day. The Austin Organic Community Gardens, there are 40 plots at the Cedar Lane Organic Gardens, and we have approximately 60 gardeners that are participating at the Cedar Lane Organic Community Gardens. A lot of the plots are pairs of people teamed up to help do their gardens. And the Austin Community Sailing Club, they had their first meeting a couple weeks ago. They had a work party this past Saturday to get the 2 sailboats that they have, a 23 and a 24-foot boat. They'll be launching those boats in the next few weeks. If you want an inexpensive means to get out on the water, this is a great way to learn how to sail. You can get out on one of the greatest rivers in the world, which is the Hudson River. We're living on the edge of it. A membership is $50 a year, and you will then have access to 2 sailboats, a 23 again and 24-foot boat that are in great shape. And they were more than happy to teach people how to sail and get you registered and into boating safety classes if you're interested. That's it.
That's terrific. As was the Jesse Collier event this year. It seemed to be that there were more kids. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but it seemed to be a very large crowd of kids having a great time.
I think the weather was great and the turnout was great. And I think you actually threw the ball and it got to somebody, and the other person that was throwing out the first ball, I think they threw a grounder. They didn't get the message it was supposed to be.
Well, that's nice.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you for reminding me, Henry.
Director of Human Resources, Linda McMahon.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustees.
Welcome back, Linda.
With the start of April also begins our requirements of all our annual training, which is currently being scheduled. And at the end of this month, we're going to start with our annual workplace violence, sexual harassment, and anti-harassment training for all employees, with a separate section for all the department managers. Next month, we're going to be continuing with our annual PESH required training, where we will be doing 2 full days of our 8 topics that is, again, required. And then moving ahead to the fall, we will be doing our annual confined space and excavation and trenching. And as things come up, we will definitely be scheduling them. If there's any new requirements at this time, I think we're all set with what we have scheduled so far. That's about it.
Thank you. I think people read in the Journal News and elsewhere when something goes wrong, when someone's hurt in a trench or in a confined space. They never seem to understand how much work we're doing, you're doing, in the village to make sure nothing goes wrong. And so far, I think we all owe you and everyone else involved a debt of gratitude that our people are safe and learn what they're supposed to.
Thank you very much, and I am very proud to say that all of our employees are very, very committed to the safety process, and we all learn something new every time we train, which is the purpose of the training. And I do thank all of the employees because they are the ones who are really abiding by what we're asking of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank them.
That completes our administrative reports. We'll now move on to organizational announcements. Chief Burton.
Good evening again. Changing hats to the Historical Society. As you know, the Historical Society has been having its walking tours the last couple of years with the church tours, the house tours, the Madman Tour, tour of Sparta and Dale Cemetery, and I'll read it as it's on the brochure. It's on Saturday, April 26th at 2 to 3:30 p.m. Please join us for a historical walking tour of St. Augustine Cemetery, one of the oldest Catholic cemeteries in Westchester. It's the final resting place for workers who constructed the Croton Aqueduct and the Hudson River Railroad. Others include Sing Sing prison inmates and war veterans. Several speakers will be tell interesting stories of the people buried here. So that's Saturday, April 26th, 2 to 3. It's free, but we ask for a $10 donation just for the Historical Society.
Thank you.
So if there's any questions, just call the Historical Society at 941-0001.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other organizational announcements? Not seeing any. Do we have any comments on any of the board resolutions? And we'll move into the adoption of the resolutions. Resolve the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the April 2nd, 2014 regular meeting and presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolve the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated April 16th, 2014 in the amount of $1,017,841.16. Do I have a motion?
Moved. Second.
Board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that upon the recommendation of the Fire Chief, Raphael Pava of Austin, New York, was elected an active member of the Ossining Hose Company No. 1 for interior firefighting at their regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Madam Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excuse me. Resolved the Board of Trustees hereby calls for a public hearing to take place at the Birdsall Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street in Ossining on May 7th, 2014 at 7:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard to consider the matter of introductory local law number 1, 2014 entitled Vehicle and Traffic Law Revision, a local law revising Chapter 250 of the Code of the Village of Ossining to revise the parking schedules in the Village Code to include a new meter parking zone on the north side of Central Avenue, 2 new long-term parking spaces on Leonard Street, and to reflect changes in the permitted prohibited parking on the south side of Cedar Place. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
On the board?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved the Board of Trustees hereby calls for a public hearing to take place at the Birdsall Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street in Ossining on May 7th, 2014 at 7:30 p.m. in the matter of sidewalk, driveway apron, and curb assessments for 2013. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Just one thing about both of these hearings. Do we notify the people who were involved in this for both of these hearings? Or? Okay. Thanks a lot.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Whereas on March 19th, 2014, the Village Board authorized a refund of a portion of real property taxes paid in 2013 by Hudson 47 Realty, LLC, in accordance with a consent order and judgment related to a certain tax certiorari proceeding filed in Westchester County Supreme Court under index number 65695-12, and where said judgment served on the village on January 31st, 2014, also ordered a reduction on the village's 2012 assessment roll for the assessment for petitioner's property situate at 47 Hudson Street in the Village of Ossining and designated as Section 97.15, Block 1, Lots 1.1, 3.1, 13.1, and 15, collectively petitioner's property, and whereas on January 29th, 2014, petitioner paid the 2014 village taxes which were based on the 2013 assessment roll, such roll not having been included in the aforementioned proceedings or resulting judgment. Whereas notwithstanding the omission of the 2013 assessment roll, from petitioner's tax surcharge proceedings, but in accordance with statutory mandates, the village now seeks to correct its 2013 assessment roll and the 2014 tax roll to reflect the revised assessment for petitioner's property, and authorizes the treasurer to refund any excess 2014 taxes paid by petitioner based upon the 2013 assessment roll. Now therefore be it resolved that the 2013 assessment roll for the Village of Austin and all other applicable records of the assessor, treasurer, and finance department be corrected to reflect the true and accurate status of the real property located at 47 Hudson Street in the Village of Austin and designated as Section 97.15, Block 1, Lots 1.1, 3.1, 13.1, and 15, and be it further resolved that any and all real property taxes paid and or owed to the village as 2014 real property taxes resulting from the inaccurate 2013 tax assessment roll be refunded and or credited to the property owner of the subject real property in accordance with all applicable laws and regulations. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Board?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolved that the village manager of the Village of Austin is hereby authorized to execute an amendment to become effective May 1st, 2014, known as Amendment Number 3 to the 2011 Village of Austin POMCO Health Insurance Master Plan document to ensure benefits are in compliance with the Federal Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. On the board?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I think it is, unlike in many other places in the country, a very smooth, hitch-free transition from pre-Affordable Care Act, post-Affordable Care Act, doing that.
Resolve the Historic Buildings Markers Capital Project is modified with a transfer of $9,000 from the General Fund Contingency Account to provide monies for additional marker signs as follows. Increased capital projects appropriation account number 505-8020, 2133. Historic buildings markers 2012, $9,000. Increased capital projects estimated revenue account number 505-0505, 5031, 0133. Interfund transfer from general fund $9,000. Decreased general fund appropriations account number 001-1990, 0400. Contingency, $9,000. Increased general fund appropriations, account number 001-9550, 0850, transfer to capital projects fund, $9,000. Project number 2133, historic buildings markers 2012, original budget $20,000, modified budget $29,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
On the board? Clerk?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That completes your resolutions for this evening. Is there any continuing business of the board?
No, ma'am?
Is there any new business of the
No,
board?
ma'am?
Might we then entertain a recess unless someone would like to just address the board?
What does that mean?
That's a yes.
Is that a yes, Bobby?
Oh, no,
Okay.
we got a
Not
recess.
yet.
We need a
Okay.
recess,
May I
Bobby.
have a motion to recess?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This ends the televised portion of this evening's agenda. We will see you next week at the final work session of the month, 16 Croton Avenue on Tuesday. Wednesday, here I go again, on Wednesday at 7:30. Have a good week. And join us for Earth Day and a good Easter.